calls out Dillian Whyte again, saying that he was going to welcome to America with a concussion. Before I get into that, smash that thumbs up, sub, and hit that bell. With that being said, let's get into the video. So Charles Martin pretty much said that Dillian Whyte had the shortest stay in America in history. That he pretty much arrived on the plane and left on the plane the minute that he got here. He was wanting to welcome to America with bop, knocking him out. He said that he believed Dillian Whyte is not the same fighter that he once was. His chin has looked shaky in the last couple of fights that he's had. And he believes that he can beat him pretty much. Now, here's the deal. Dillian Whyte, really, truthfully, this is a good fight for Dillian Whyte. It's a good fight for Anthony Joshua / Eddie Hearn. And I say this because you have Matchroom or DAZN, however you want to look at it, because they're pretty much intertwined with each other, how they put on their fights, would be fighting a PBC fighter in Charles Martin. So I think it makes sense. I think it opens up the door for if Deontay Wilder can beat Tyson Fury, a fight in between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. It would no longer be that the two sides can't work together, PBC and Matchroom, because through Dillian Whyte and Charles Martin, it would prove that they could actually work together. It would prove that they can make deals happen. It would prove that they can do it on either side of the street, if that's what you want to go with. So I think it's good right there as far as a business move goes, because it just opens the door. And it also opens the door for Dillian Whyte that when he beats Charles Martin, if he beats Charles Martin, then it makes him easier for him to go ahead and fight Deontay Wilder if Deontay Wilder can defeat Tyson Fury, because Deontay Wilder is also PBC. He is the mandatory. He is the interim champion. And Deontay Wilder would be his next fight if Deontay Wilder can get through Tyson Fury. So to me, this fight makes the most sense. On my last video about Dillian Whyte, I was saying that this fight right here makes the most sense unless another PBC fighter, they could get Andy Ruiz Jr. to fight Dillian Whyte, only because Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua in the first fight. Whereas Charles Martin got defeated by, Anthony Joshua within 2 rounds. So here's the thing about it. This is how I look at it. Jermaine Franklin has been very inactive, but so has Charles Martin. So that kind of is a wash. Then you got to look at who did more between the two. Would it make more sense for Dillian Whyte to fight Jermaine Franklin, who really hasn't fought anything or achieved anything at this point in his career? No. At least Charles Martin, you could say, is an ex-champion. I believe this would be the second ex-champion that Dillian Whyte has fought. He beat Lucas Brown, who had a title, and then now he would be fighting. And I'm not talking about the silver title that he won. I'm just talking about actual titles. Then he would be fighting Charles Martin, who had the legitimate WBA belt that Anthony Joshua took from him. So this would be another good fight for him in the sense of he's fighting an ex-world champion at the heavyweight division. So it makes sense to me. Again, now you have Areola, who looked decent in spots against Andy Ruiz Jr., but again, at the end of the day, he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. So to me, that fight really doesn't make any sense. Dillian Whyte could go there, blow him out the water, but it doesn't really do anything for Dillian Whyte. And it's just an unnecessary risk. Not that I think it's much of a risk. I would imagine that Dillian Whyte probably gets him out of there. If he doesn't get him out of there, he's going to batter him for 12 rounds. And I don't really see Areola putting up much of an offense/defense against Dillian Whyte because he's very susceptible to being hit. So, again, that fight doesn't really make sense to me because you just got a guy who's not really doing anything right now, who hasn't really been a top-tier fighter for a long time, whereas at least with Charles Martin, you have him fighting Anthony Joshua, losing his title. Then the only other loss that he had came to old Naki. I know Cal Naki, but he looked old, so we're going to call him Old Naki. Charles Martin lost to him after having a long stint outside of the ring. However, it was a 10-round fight. If you watch that fight, if it would have gone another 2 rounds, I imagine that Charles Martin probably would have stopped Old Naki because he was fading very quickly, and it looked like Charles was plagued by ring rust, and as the fight got deeper and deeper, you saw him start to come on more and more. So I'm not making an excuse for Charles Martin losing. I'm just saying that I personally believe if it would have been championship rounds, 11th and 12th round, that I think Charles Martin would have got Old Naki out of there by how the fight was changing towards the end. So going past that, to me, this fight makes the most sense. Charles Martin is talking the most, and Dillian Whyte calls himself the can man and will fight anyone, anytime, any place with, it doesn't matter how much amount of time that he has. He's taking fights on 2 weeks' notice. So I think this would be a very good fight. And I mean, I can't really call it a step-up fight for Dillian Whyte because Dillian Whyte has been fighting top-tier heavyweights. But it is a good fight to have on your record because Charles Martin, I mean, he looks like he's improved a lot. He's coming off a TKO win against Gerald Washington, although that happened last year in February, I believe. So February 2020. So like I said, he hasn't really been active. So if you were going to favor somebody, you would have to favor Dillian Whyte. But I can say this. Charles Martin does have a good punch. He does carry some power. So it would be interesting to see how that power translates to Dillian Whyte's chin. Can Charles Martin get him out of there? Is it going to be too slow to start? Is Dillian Whyte going to put too much pressure on Charles Martin and fold him early in the fight like Anthony Joshua did? These are questions we can't answer. But again, I come around full circle to at the end of the day, it makes the most sense because you have an ex-world champion, which looks good on your resume, good on your record, regardless of how good people think he actually was. He still was an ex-champion. You can't take that from him. He won the title. And defeating an ex-champion always looks good on your resume in the record book. And he's PBC. And he's been calling Dillian Whyte out. So if Dillian Whyte wants to run with people and ducking him, then you have to take on challengers as they call you out, especially if they're... I don't really want to say Charles Martin is a big name in the heavyweight division. I don't really want to say he's one of the most relevant fighters, but he's at least a top 15 fighter in the heavyweight division, at least a top 15. So when a top 15 guy is calling you out and you want to say people are ducking you, then you need to take that challenge, in my opinion, especially when he doesn't have a fight and you don't have a fight. Now, if it goes in negotiations and it just doesn't work out because Charles Martin asked for an obscene amount of money, then that's one thing. But when he's calling you out, I think it would be in Dillian Whyte's best interest to at least entertain the fight. At least let's see if they can get a contract done. At least see if the figures make sense. But if Charles Martin says, okay, I'll fight you, but I need $20 million, well, then, it's all cap. But I'm just saying, it's Charles Martin, to me, against Dillian Whyte is at least worth Dillian Whyte going down the rabbit hole to see if it's real or fake. Because at the end of the day, they can always get Jermaine Franklin in the ring, and Jermaine will take that fight because it'll be the biggest fight of his career. So I don't really see any losses here going down the Charles Martin route. And again, I will restate, I think Charles Martin at this moment in his career is better than Jermaine Franklin, even though I think he shows decent skills. And I definitely think a Charles Martin win is better than an Areola win. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I would like to see this fight happen. In my last video, it's the fight that I picked that I would want to see happen. And if it does happen, who do y'all think wins? Do y'all think Charles Martin gets knocked out? Do y'all think he gives problems to Dillian Whyte? Because Dillian Whyte has shown an issue to tire, and Charles Martin looks like he holds his power all the way to the end of his matches. So again, let me know what y'all think, and thank y'all for watching. And like always, y'all have a good day.